Hello, hi. Hello, good morning, viewer. Welcome back to my channel, Hocantalk. Now, today, this video, I'm going to introduce to you another new financial knowledge, business knowledge, so that it will help in your career or in your normal business decision. And hopefully, this knowledge will be useful to you in future or currently if you are involving something to do with ASEAN. Yes, today's topic is about ASEAN. It's a very common name used, but I'm quite sure there are still a lot of nitty-gritty information that some of you might not know incomplete. So I think this video will help you to know the full picture about ASEAN, how it is formed, why it is formed, and also how ASEAN is being managed as a single entity. Now, today this video is considered a part one of the video because after this introduction to ASEAN, I'm going to do another video about what happens if the oil price goes up to $200 per barrel. How is ASEAN going to react? So there will be another part two video coming up later on. So this one will be the part one. For this one, I will just give introduction about ASEAN. Okay, so like other video, I'm going to use two languages, Chinese and English. So today, this will be the English version. So without further ado, let's zoom in onto the first slide. See, the first slide I put down there, ASEAN. So today, we are going to talk about ASEAN. I will educate or I will provide all the information regarding when it was started, how it is being managed, and comparing with other kind of similar association or organization in the world. Now, for ASEAN, it was formed. Why ASEAN is being formed? Okay, the main reason at that time because a lot of the ASEAN country, Southeast Asia country, has emerged from colonial era, meaning that in the past they've been managed by a lot of Western power. So one after another they become independent. So there are some border dispute because of historical issue. When the Western power divide the Southeast Asian nation, sometimes the way they divide doesn't conform with the sovereign right or the actual cultural substance of all this Southeast Asia. So there will be some dispute. And also at that time, it was during Cold War. So 5 countries in Southeast Asia grouped to get together in Bangkok in 1967. And they've mooted the idea, it's called the Bangkok Declaration, to set up a association or an organization to combine the strength of the founding 5 countries, which are Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, and Thailand. And they under this declaration, they will resolve all their dispute through negotiation without using force and whatsoever. So, and also another reason why the formation of ASEAN is to promote business and trade within these 5 countries. Okay, so to keep it short, in 1967, because of the post-colonial era and also because of the Cold War, 5 countries in Southeast Asia, namely Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Philippines, grouped together in Bangkok and they formed ASEAN. That is the reason and why it was formed. Now, after 1967, then the whole ASEAN membership only had 5 countries. But in 1984, Brunei joined into ASEAN as a member, and followed by Vietnam in 1995, you look at the slide, and Laos in 1997, Myanmar also in 1997, and the last one is Cambodia in 1999. Of course, Timor-Leste has also been granted conditional approval to join, but they are now considered an observer because there are certain things that as a member you need to fulfill. So the rest of the member think that Timor-Leste is not really that qualified yet, but they are agreed to allow them to come in as an observer and paving the way to a full membership in ASEAN. So ASEAN right now has 10 plus 1 members. 10 full members, 1 observer. Now, how to become an ASEAN member? How to become one of these 10 plus 1, the group? So number 1, you have to be located in the right geographical area. So if you look at this slide, it has to be in Southeast Asia. Number two, all the ASEAN members must vote for the participation of a new member. This is something like NATO. NATO also the same, NATO. Now for ASEAN, any new members need to have approval from the rest of the existing members. Number three, any new member come in must agree to conform to the ASEAN Charter, the one that declared in Bangkok. Then they wrote a charter and formalized the formation, legalized the formation of the ASEAN Association. And you must have certain capability or ability, for example, some financial contribution. As a member, you need to contribute financially and also attend all the meetings. There are a few thousand meetings per year, so that you must have all this capability. Now, within ASEAN, there are rules and policy. So how is ASEAN being managed? Now, ASEAN is different from EU, European Union. European Union is a supranatural kind of organization, meaning that they can make laws for all the EU member countries. But for ASEAN is no. ASEAN is intergovernmental, meaning that it's a relationship or an association that link all these countries together, but not an association or a organization that can overshadow individual country power to set law or manage their country individually. So that's why if you look at the rules and policies of ASEAN, number one is non-interference, meaning that each country will man their own business. Number two is consensus-based decision making. Everybody, if any policy need to be passed, everybody in the ASEAN must agree, something like NATO. Number three will be the ASEAN Charter, which is formalized in the year 2008, and because of that charter, it formalized or it legalized the formation of ASEAN into a legal entity. How about the structure of management of ASEAN? How is ASEAN as an association being managed, or as an organization? So a lot of people might not know, actually ASEAN has an office. This office, head office, is actually based in Jakarta, Indonesia. So the structure is this: every 2 times per year, all the foreign minister or the head of state or prime minister of all these members country of ASEAN will meet in a place 2 times a year, and this is called the ASEAN Summit. Yeah, then in that summit they will decide the big direction, and then they pass the instruction down to the ASEAN Coordinating Council. Who are these council people? These are all the foreign minister of all these 10+1 countries. So they will pass the instruction down to the ASEAN Coordinating Council. Then who will handle after the council? There are also a lot of ministerial body. For example, a body handle defense, a body handle business and collaboration and whatsoever. So under the coordinating council, there are many small ministry bodies handled by the respective kind of minister in all these 10+1 members. So for example, defense, and all the defense minister will come in. Then at the lower level, there's something called the Committee of the Permanent Representative. Yeah, this is the one in the Jakarta office, for ASEAN office. Each of the member has to nominate someone full-time and work in that office. So there are 11 people at least, plus other supporting staff. And these are the people who are called the ambassadors. Okay, they are based, they live and stay in Jakarta, and they work from the Jakarta office. So this is how ASEAN structure is being managed. So a lot of people always think ASEAN, but a lot of them do not know that they actually have an office in Jakarta running full-time. Now, so who is in charge of ASEAN? Since this is such a important kind of organization, a commitment or association among 10+1 members, who is the one that actually call the shot, or who is the one that run it? Now, the chairman of the ASEAN is being rotated annually among all these members in alphabetical order. So every country will become the chairman and host all the meeting for that year in their respective country. So in this year 2026, the chair is Philippines. So this is by alphabetical order. So that means every 11 or 10 years, it will be rotating once. Okay, because now there are 10 full members. Timor-Leste not yet. They are on the observer basis. And then from the summit, remember, summit, they met twice a year, called the ASEAN Summit. The summit, they will nominate someone to become the Secretary General for a 5 years term. And this term cannot be roll over, meaning you can only do 5 years. But if you are renominated again, you can do. But there's no auto rollover, not 5 plus 5. It's just 5 years. And then this person will work in Jakarta, and they will head up this office, and also the rest of the coordinating effort will be all done by this Secretary General, something like the CEO. Okay, so he is the face. He represents ASEAN, and he worked from the Jakarta office. Now, so under all these top level people, there must be some engines below to do all the nitty-gritty job. Just that there must be a lot of general. I mentioned a lot of general. There must be some soldiers involved to do all this work. So in ASEAN, there are three pillars that will do the three main objective, to carry out the three main objective of ASEAN. Number one will be the political pillar. Number two is the economic pillar, and number three is the social pillar. So I have listed down in this slide. You can see that the political is for peace and stability among all these countries. Economic is for prosperity and trade, and also social is for people and culture. So these are the three main engines within the ASEAN organization that will carry out instruction from the ASEAN Summit and the Secretary General. Now, I'm going to explain each of these one by one so that you have a clearer understanding. So for under the ASEAN Political Security and Community, it's called APSC. I put down there all the wording here, what they need to do. So again, like the name refer to, I won't go into detail. You can read through all these things. So this pillar is to make sure that all the members can settle dispute through negotiation, through a peaceful manner, and also dispute in the South China Sea with China. So it also cover under this pillar. So this is one of the key engine of ASEAN. Okay, there is some treaty signed to make sure that among members they don't fight with each other. Of course, the war between Thailand and Cambodia is something separate from this. That's why a lot of foreign ministers within the ASEAN members are trying to resolve this. Now, the second pillar, the second engine is more to do with the business and economic development. So that's called the ASEAN Economic Community, AEC. Now, this one is the most active pillar. Okay, the most active pillar. They are trying to promote free trade among all the 10+1 members. So they have removed a lot of import tariffs. There's still some, but not all. And they also want to promote the flow of goods and services. For example, goods and services, investment, free flow, and also capital and skilled labor. Only skilled labor, non-skilled labor not included. Skilled labor meaning like doctor, accountant, engineer, lawyer, all these, they can move freely among these 10+1 country. And then also competitiveness. In order to compete with other part of the world, the ASEAN actually presented a huge population of more than 600 million, so that we can compete among other people as a single entity. Now, the last pillar or the last engine of ASEAN is called the ASEAN Social Cultural Community. In short, it's called ASCC. Now, this one is to promote the human side, the philosophy side, the cultural side of all the members among the ASEAN organization. So again, I won't go to read through all these things. You can read from the slide. For example, the haze, the smoke that trouble a lot of people will be settled under this engine. The COVID-19, healthcare, all these things will be, tourism will be under this engine. So now, after all this introduction to ASEAN, now you know when ASEAN was being set up, by which are the 5 founding countries, why it is being set up, how it is being structured and managed, who are the person that in charge of this thing, which are the 3 main engines that run, that the ASEAN is ensuring this 3 engine is running to handle the 3 different objectives. So now let's compare ASEAN to other economic union or the similar kind of association in the world. So I produced some table down here. The first table, if you look at the slide, Now, I compare ASEAN to EU. I'm quite sure a lot of people know what is EU. But of course, I think a lot of you are not familiar with the detailed operation of EU, just like ASEAN. So there's another organization, USMCA. This is US, Mexico, and Canada. So they also form one bloc among the three countries. So another one is MERCOSUR, meaning all the southern American market, Latin America side. So I compare ASEAN to these three economic organization in the world, so that at least you can see where ASEAN stand in terms of the size and all this. So population wise, we are the highest. ASEAN got 684 million, and the rest of the three has a population that is lower than us. So you can look at the slide. But the combined GDP, we are the lowest. We are the second lowest. We got 4 trillion. The common market in Latin America is the lowest, or 2.7 trillion. But European is 19.5 trillion, is about the size of China. Yeah, so one China is equivalent to one EU. And for the USMCA, because it combined Mexico and Canada, is about 30.5 trillion. The growth rate in terms of GDP, we are the highest. ASEAN, we have about close to 5%. The rest of the region, the rest of the organization are having lower growth. And the per capita GDP, of course, we are not the highest, because our economies among the top 10, among the 10 plus 1 is very diverse. Some are doing very well, some are very, very poor. So now we compare using other kind of economic indicator. For ASEAN, EU, and USMCA, I will ignore the Southern Common Market side. So the total trade for ASEAN, we generate about 3.6 trillion US dollar for the latest 2025. But EU is about 5.2 trillion, so it's almost 1.8 times bigger than us. And then USMCA is 6.1 trillion, so it's close to 2 times bigger than us. Inter-regional kind of trade, meaning trade among each other, we are 22.5%. European Union is very high, 60%, and the last one is 40%. So you can know where ASEAN, the position of ASEAN compared to the rest of our competitor. Now, the main trading partner for ASEAN, of course, is China, because China is right there, and for EU will be USA, and for USMCA, they are more or less is inter-country trade among themselves. How about foreign direct investment? How much money we attract from outsider to invest in this region? So ASEAN, we got about 230 billion, but EU is 150 billion, and for US, Mexico, and Canada is the highest, is 390 billion, and most of them go to USA. Okay, now come back to other kind of using other kind of benchmark. Now, the nature of blocks for ASEAN is intergovernmental, meaning that it's based on consensus. We don't interfere in each other country laws and sovereignty. We just cooperate on level that does not infringe on our sovereignty. But for EU is supranatural, meaning that the central power of EU can implement law that every member has to follow. Now, for the USMCA is nothing of that. It's just a free trade agreement. So common currency, ASEAN, no, don't have. Why? Because among the 10 plus 1 country, the economic performance of all these countries are very diverse. So like Singapore is the highest GDP among the ASEAN, and Laos is the lowest. So because of that, it's very difficult to do a common currency. For EU, they are more equivalent. So they have a common currency called the euro dollar. And for the last one, the answer is no. It's just a free trade agreement. Now, the rest I won't go through, okay, so that you can read through yourself without falling asleep. And let's do the last slide before we end this presentation. The last slide, I actually compare all these 10 countries except Timor-Leste, so that you can see the kind of comparative economic indicator. So first, I put out there the population. Okay, I put out there the GDP, the FDI inflow, the foreign reserve, and the Gini index. Gini index, I've done another video that's regarding income equality. If you are interested to find out what is Gini, efficiency index, you can go and take a look at my video, and you will know what does Gini index mean. So again, from here you can see from this table. Now, one thing for sure, I actually grouped 4 countries at the bottom of this table: Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Laos. Actually, these last time they are considered less developed. But now Vietnam is catching up fast. You can see Vietnam GDP actually is higher than Malaysia and Philippines, the two founding country of ASEAN. So Vietnam is catching up fast. And if you look at FDI, Singapore has the highest FDI among everyone combined. Singapore achieved 150 billion. I want to give a little bit more detail here. It doesn't mean that all the money are invested in Singapore. Singapore is actually a gateway because of the legal system and the court system. So a lot of people actually invest in Singapore-based company and then divert this investment to the rest of the regional country like Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand. So they actually first come to Singapore as a gateway, use Singapore law to protect their investment, and then they branch out to other country. Okay, so I hope today this short presentation about 20 over minutes give you an overview and a very comprehensive knowledge about what ASEAN. And like I mentioned, this video is to par for the next video, which is to talk about what happened if oil price hit $200. How is ASEAN going to react, or can ASEAN cope? So these are the next question that will be answered in the another video, which is considered part 2. Okay, so thank you very much. Do subscribe to my video and circulate my video to all your friends so that they can also enjoy my video and learn something regarding ASEAN. See you next video. Bye bye.